Magandang gabi mga kabarangay. Napapisa na naman pong napapanahong isyo ang ating pag-uusapan ngayong gabi. Ito po ang samut-saring reaksyon sa naging suna ng ating Pangulo kahapon. Ito po yung July 26, 2021. Ito po ang ika-6 at huling suna ng ating Pangulo. Naging iba't iba po ang naging reaksyon, lalo na po ng kanyang mga kritiko. Halimbawa po si Madam VP Robredo. Ang sabi niya, pagkatapos magbigay ng ulat o ng suna ang ating Pangulo, siya naman po ang magbibigay ng ulat sa bayan. At ayon sa kanya, pinupunuan niya ang naging kakulangan ng ating Pangulo doon sa kanyang suna. Partikular ang sinabi ni Leni Robredo na bagamat ang kanyang opisina ay maliit lamang ang pundo, ngunit nagampanan niya ang inaasahan ng taong bayan mula sa kanya dahil na rin sa tulong ng mga kababayan natin na siyang tanging inaasahan daw niya. So, ang ibig po lamang sabihin ni Bepe Robredo sa kanyang ulat sa bayan ay higit niyang natugunan ang pangangailangan ng ating bayan kung ikumpara sa ating Pangulo. At ito ay dahil sa tulong at lakas ng mga Pilipino kababayan natin na siya di umano ang kanyang naging inspirasyon at sandigan. Well, kung yun ang paniniwala po ng ating ikalawang Pangulo, karapatan niya yun. Pero alam po natin ang katotohanan na walang-wala po sa kalingkingan yung achievement ni Bepe Robredo kung ikukumpara sa naging achievement ng ating Pangulo. Kaya nga sa mga survey, mataas ang trust rating at ang performance rating ng ating Pangulo sapagkat nakikita po ng sambayanan ang kanyang mga achievements, hindi sa salita, bagkus sa gawa. Ayon naman po kay Senator Gordon, kulang ang suna ng ating Pangulo sapagkat hindi nito inilatag ang detalyadong programa kung paano lalabanan ang COVID. Well, Senator Gordon, alam po natin na ang suna kahapon 2021 bilang huling suna ng ating Pangulo. It was a sort of summative statements of all the achievements of the President for the last 5 years and his incoming program as a matter of priorities for this coming year. For the last 1 year or less than a year that he would be staying with at the Malacanang. So, hindi po talaga natin, we could not expect that the President should lay down the details of a particular program, however important it is. Anyway, alam naman po natin ang SONA that it is addressed to Congress primarily, so that Congress may be able to enact the necessary legislation to for the president to implement to solve in order to solve the, our problem relatives to COVID. So that legislation should, by principle, at least lay the predicate of the basic principles as a matter of the country's response to the COVID problem, which the president has to be implemented. Even then, the more details of which can be laid down in the implementing rules and regulation to be formulated by the concerned agency. So doon po makikita ang detalye. Yung sinasabi mong kakulangan doon sa SONA sapagkat hindi nabanggit, you have to deliberate it at the Senate and so far as you are concerned, at sa lower house by your counterpart. So doon po magiging detalyado ang programa tungkol sa ating pagtugon sa COVID. In the same way na ayon sa isang profesor, kulang ang SONA sapagkat hindi rin naidetalye kung paano, bagamat nabanggit, hindi naman na detalyado ng ating Pangulo kung paano mabibigyan ng trabaho ang karamihang magagawang Pilipino na nawalan ng trabaho dulot ng COVID pandemic. So, ito din po ay tatalakayin ang detalye nito doon po sa mga batas na gagawin ng Kongreso as a proper response sa problema ng COVID-19 at kawalan ng trabaho ng maraming manggagawang Pilipino dulot ng COVID-19. Ang detalye po niyan sa sinasabi nilang kulang na yan ay pag-uusapan po yan. It has to be deliberated in Congress during their enactment of the necessary laws for the purpose. At kung may kakulangan man doon sa principles, based on the principles enacted by Congress into law, ang executive department naman with the concerned agencies, sila po ang magpo-formulate ng implementing rules which will give the more details procedures on how to carry out the government programs to solve the COVID problem or to as a proper response to COVID-19, and also our programs relative to providing jobs, works to the Filipino working force. Yan po ay doon po pinag-uusapan yan. Hindi po yan during the SONA. Sapagkat ito po ang nagiging common misconception sa SONA. The SONA po, the State of the Nation Address, which is constitutionally called for every fourth Monday of July, is designed by the Constitution for the President to appear before Congress in a joint session for him to lay the predicate of his program of governance for the ensuing year. Sasabihin niya, ito yung mga priorities ko sa taong ito. Bilang Pangulo, this is what I want to do for this coming year for the Filipino people to be able to achieve a better life. So based on what the President has laid down as a matter of priorities for his governance, Congress has to enact laws or the necessary laws which will enable the President to implement those program of governance in terms of executing the laws which has been enacted for the purpose. Yun po ang purpose ng SONA. Aside from telling the Congress the government's achievement for the last years, most importantly is the statement to the effect of laying down the priorities for the ensuing years so that Congress may have a direction in their lawmaking functions. Kasi ang sasabihin ng Pangulo as a matter of priorities for his governance, iyon ang magiging direksyon ng Congress sa paggawa ng batas, in the sense na yung priority na batas na dapat gawin ng Kongreso ay yung mga batas na magbibigay, which will give realities to the visions, to the programs of governance made known to them by the President through the SONA. Iyan po, mga kabarangay, ang purpose ng SONA. Kaya hindi po sasabihin ng mga tagapakinig, lalo na ng mga members of Congress, whether senators or congressmen, na kulang yun. Because the President cannot be expected to give the details of it. It would be more for Congress to deliberate, as we have said. So, kung titingnan po natin ang SONA ng Pangulo, ay one of the best, comprehensive in the sense na lahat ng problema ay natakil o natouch. Bagamat kung paano ito susolusyonan ay hindi na po inilatag, sapagkat sabi nga natin, that is for congressional functions. Hindi po yan dapat sabihin doon sa SONA. Otherwise, SONA could not be that comprehensive in the sense na mas pwede pong limutan o ma-set aside yung ibang mahalagang bagay. Kaya po, ngayon isa sa pinakamahalagang nabanggit ng ating Pangulo sa kanyang suna, yung sinasabi niya na ah, at nais po nating talakayin dito. Sabi niya, ang korupsyon sa gobyerno talagang hindi kayang solusyonan. Kung gusto mo itong solusyonan, sabi niya, deklara ka ng martialo, tanggalin mo lahat at ang ipasok mo yung mga young generations. Well, at sabi nga ng iba, this is a statement on the part of the President expressing his dismay. Dismayado talaga siya sa katotohanan ito. Well, totoo po naman sapagkat ang gobyerno, lalo na po sa at the level, doon sa mababang level, para sindikato na rin eh. Kaya nga po, sa mga nauna nating vlogs na isuggest natin yan, na kailangan mabago ang saligang batas na kung saan dapat mailagay dito na walang sino man, no person shall serve in the government for whatever capacity for more than 20 years in service. Dapat hanggang 20 taon lang po. Pagkatapos ng 20 taon, serving for 20 years in service and or not more than 40 years of age, whichever comes first. So, iyan po dapat ma-institute natin sa saligang batas that no person shall serve in the government for whatever capacity for more than 20 years and or for more than 40 years of age, whichever comes first. Bakit po? Sapagkat pag ang isang government employee or official nanungkulan ng more than 40 years o 20 years, nakakapagbuo na po siya ng mga koneksyon. At because of that connection, nagkakaroon na po ng korupsyon. At the same time, try to imagine it. Kung hanggang 40 years lang ang mga empleyado ng gobyerno at mga officials, ay makikita natin na government will be composed of young civil servants, energetic, effective. And upon retirement, bigyan po natin sila ng magandang retirement for enough for them to make business as their source of living after 40 years. Hindi po magiging kurap yan. Ang problema, hindi po magagawa yung saligang batas yan sapagkat sinasabi nga natin na ang Senado, with respect to this with respect to Congress converted into a constituent assembly in order to draft amendment to the Constitution, hadlang po ang Senado. Kaya nga hanggang ngayon, even that federal form of government na gusto ng ating Pangulo na magawa, no, kahit nung bago pa siya bilang Pangulo, kanya na pong isinulong yan. But it never happened because the Senate especially stands as an obstacle for any charter change. So, kung talagang determinado tayo, ang sabi nga ng Pangulo, he is suggesting for the for any president to replace him in 2022 to declare martial law. I would say, pwede pa naman ngayon sa bahagi ng Pangulo magdeklara ng revolutionary government for the purpose of instituting uh, meaningful reforms that would eliminate corruptions in the government. But mind you, uh, Cory was given this power in 1986 upon the ouster of Marcos. Cory was given 100% power to reform. Tinanggal niya ang lahat ng gusto niyang tanggalin at pinalitan ng mga taong gusto niya. But the necessary reforms, especially the elimination of the corruption in the government, the more that it has been institutionalized. So ang ibig po sabihin dito, hindi po basta magdeklara ng revolutionary government. What we need is the having with that revolutionary government, the head should be the kind of our president, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Bakit? Sapagkat nakikita po natin na talagang nandoon yung kanyang honesty na magkaroon ng pagbabago. At hindi po siya, he himself is not corrupt. So, kung gusto talaga po natin, and we are sending this message to him with less than a year to go, pwede niya pang gawin ito. Kaya lamang ihanda at the same time mag-create ng junta to be headed by him with Sara Duterte as vice chairman. At itong mga nasa kabinete niya, ang members, para gawin ang necessary reforms. Pwede pa po yan, Mr. President. We are confident that if you would do it, this can be achieved. Ang mahalaga dito, masimulan. At masisimulan lang talaga yan with a dictatorial power given to the president by way of a revolutionary government. Hindi po workable ang martial law. Bakit po? Una, martial law can only be declared or proclaimed by the president when there is invasion or rebellion and public safety requires it. So, reform in the government, for instance, elimination of corruption cannot be a ground for the proclamation of martial law. Another thing, martial law will die after 60 days unless otherwise extended by Congress. And we cannot be assured of Congress extending it. Or it can even be revoked by Congress also when to their minds by joint session voting jointly. It can be revoked by Congress if to their minds there is no basis for the proclamation of martial law. Likewise, the Supreme Court in a proper case has to decide whether martial law is proper or not. So, what is more proper to do is a revolutionary government because it set aside completely the 1987 Constitution, and the president, like what happened with Cory in 1986, could do everything that he wanted to in order to institutionalize the needed reform, eliminating corruption in the government. Eh, this may be a revolutionary thinking, pero inaamin na rin naman natin na talagang walang mangyayari. So, ba't hindi na lang tayo magsakripisyo? Lalo na kung nasisigurado naman tayo na ang mamumuno ay ang ating Pangulo, si Rodrigo Roa Duterte, na alam naman nating kapakanan ng mga Pilipino ang kanyang iniisip. So, bakit pa natin hintayin ang 2022 with a new president? Pwede naman ngayon, sayang pa rin ang isang taon na ipaghihintay natin. Set aside yung eleksyon muna na yan. Hindi saka tayo mag-eleksyon sa 2025 or 2028 na. So, para mabigyan natin ng sapat na panahon yung pagbabago na nais nating maisagawa. Sapagkat kung hindi dadaanin po sa ganyang paraan, hindi po ma-eliminate ang korupsyon. Bakit? Hindi po natin matatanggal yung mga korap na yan. Bakit po? They are protected by this security of tenure under the civil service law. Kakasuhan mo yan. Pag kinasuhan mo yan, madidismiss ang mga kaso. Katulad halimbawa po dyan sa plunder case, na-dismiss na yung kay Ramon Revilla. Na-dismiss na. We expect na ganun din mangyayari kay Jinggoy. The fact na si Jinggoy ay nakapagpiyansa, it means that upon the evaluation of the court, Sandigan Bayan, mahina po ang ebidensya. Kaya he was allowed to post bail. With respect to Ramon Revilla, dismiss na po lahat ng kaso. Itong kay Enrile, we are expecting the same. Bakit po nangyayari yan? Kasi po, yung mga head, bagamat pumipirma yan, pagdating sa bulyaso, wala pong ebidensya na maglilink sa kanila. Kasi sasabihin nila, pag tinanong siya, pinirmahan ko yung release na pera na yan. Kasi, in good faith, I believe in good faith that it is a valid transaction. Because it was recommended to me for signing by my staff. Kaya nga meron akong staff. May abogado, ang chief legal usually ang chief of staff ko, abogado, kung hindi man. Meron kaming dyan, para bago dumating sa akin ang dokumento, ayos na. Kasi kung hindi ayos yan, hindi legal yan, hindi nila pipirmahan. Sa level pa lang nila, dismiss na yan. So ako, I signed it. Kasi it went through the process. Kasi it would not be for me as head of the office na bawat papel na pumunta na pipirmahan ko ay isa-isahin ko. That is the job of my staffs. Kaya kalimitan po ang nakukulong, yung mga staff. Ang problema yung mga staff ay inuutosan ng boss yan, hindi naman makakatanggi. Kasi boss, pero mag-testify man sila na inutusan sila, who will believe them? Wala namang testigo na sila ay pinilit na gawin kahit hindi tama ng kanilang boss. Magagaling ang mga boss. Kaya nila pong iwasan yung ganon. Nakakapag-corrupt sila, pero lagi silang lagi silang ligtas. Ito po ang problema sa gobyerno natin. Kaya kung sasabihin natin na hindi, mayroon namang tamang may batas naman. Well, yes, there is a law. But the law is being circumvented. Is being manipulated to their advantage and to the prejudice of the Filipino people. Kaya po inuulit natin, kung gusto talaga po natin ng makabuluhang pagbabago, let us be practical and let us sacrifice. It is time for us to take the risk with President Duterte as president and head of the revolutionary government. Kaya po tayo, isinusulong po natin yung ideya na yan. On the while, wakasan po natin ang talakayan natin ngayong gabi. At bilang suporta po, inaanyayahan po natin na i-subscribe ang ating YouTube channel, ang ating paninindigan sa napapanahong isyu ng lipunan. Muli, marami pong salamat at magandang gabi.